surely knows practically everything there is to know about the female anatomy, because he has a French last name. I know very little about French culture as well. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jerry Hebert.
All right.
Thank you. Eddie Stevens didn't want to do it, but I'll do it. I'll say the N-word. Knickers.
Yes.
That's a K word, isn't it?
It's a language difference. You know. That's underwear, right?
Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah. All right, there's a K in front of it. The K is silent. And or do you call them pants too?
Yeah.
Women, is that gender? Women or men?
Everyone wears pants, but women's, which are underwear, and women's underwear are also called knickers.
Okay. Thank you.
The racial slip.
Anyway, yeah. So, where is Jason Green, the word guy? Did you know that? Do you know the other, the Catholic sacrament of last rites? Do you know the other name for it?
No.
Extreme unction. You know, just thought that'd be a cool detail. To me, it sounds a little bit like a porn genre. But I like saying it anyway. And whenever I'm talking about the sacraments and last rites, you know, I always, it's like Catholic street cred. I'm like, oh, someone call a priest for extreme unction. New thing, like porn genre of the week, because I like looking at porn sites and just reading the names of the genres as much as I like watching the actual porn. Gagged, parenthetical, bit or ball. I mean, it's getting complicated. I thought porn was specific in the 90s. But wow, it's like, it's encyclopedic now. Yeah, I am a Catholic, and my name is French originally. Yeah, I'm Cajun, well, half Cajun. But yeah, I'm Catholic. Grew up in New Orleans, very Catholic city, and I'm single too, so I get a lot of advice. You know, a woman was telling me recently, you know, Jerry, women just want to be worshipped.
That's not a problem, is it?
And I thought about that as a Catholic. Like I put the Catholic template over it. I said, all right. And I'm a lapsed Catholic, but still, I was a pretty good Catholic. Like, so I thought, like, what does worship mean to me? And it's like only showing up on the most important days, leading a secret life of sexual deviance, and then regularly begging for forgiveness. And I told her, I said, you know, I think I'm down with worship. I wear this jacket because it's my only connection to Andrew Dice Clay. It's not studded, but, you know. And I try to think, I have a lot of respect for all the other local comics I do, so I don't want to limit people in any way. But like I think of, for example, like I think of Mike Long as like the Andrew Dice Clay of Albuquerque. I think of Andrew Harms as the Stephen Wright of Albuquerque. And I think of Smitty as like the Jim Gaffigan of Albuquerque. Yeah. I got a decent laugh for being so contrived. What I always wanted to know as a white person is why is, you know, we get black people put stereotypes on us too, like we love to go to the Gap and
eat mayonnaise.
And exactly, my next point, mayonnaise, and I never got it other than the logical, you know, connection of, you know, mayonnaise is white. So I was thinking, like, if I could stereotype black people with a condiment, like, what would it be? And, I mean, Vegemite is the best I could come up with. Follow that line of thought. It doesn't make any sense, really. I mean, there are black people, you know, abos, as Aussies say, aboriginals. I think that was a slur. Abos and blackfellas. That's what they call them in Australia. So one word, blackfella. So if you don't think that the hookers on East Central are fashion icons, just take a look around Albuquerque on any given day and notice the number of people wearing sweatpants. Like it kind of, in a weird way, gave me a new respect for the prostitutes. Like I've never seen so many hookers wearing sweatpants before. And this is a little joke. What do you call a tap out hoodie in Albuquerque? A winter wardrobe. Thank you for that, throwing me a bone. What else do I have? So, yeah, I do have some optimism about relationships and about people getting together. And because I was watching Animal Hoarders recently. Anybody seen the show? It's an offshoot of, it's a special edition of Hoarders. And now this part is true, is there was a man, they profiled two people in this episode. The first was a man who had lost his wife of like 35 years, and she died kind of suddenly. And he had one pet rat, and when she died, he bought a second one and started breeding them. And he lived in a warehouse apartment. And he went apeshit with the rats, or the rats went apeshit with each other, and became viral, right? And he flat out said, he's like, he had tears in his eyes, said, this is to replace my wife, I know, and I can't stop. The second person they profiled on the show was a woman who lived in a trailer with about 300 cats. But no one saw, I don't think it was ironic, I mean, no one saw, it was like, if we get these two people together, at least one of them, problem solved. Actually, 2 for 1, because he'll get a new wife. And they can keep hoarding the cats. Yeah. I'm kind of awkward because I do blame a lot of it on my mother. Because, for example, like in school, she would cover for me whenever I wanted. And when I started drinking, like in 9th grade and getting hungover and sick, she would cover for me, but she always had the same excuse. She called the office and said I had diarrhea. Every single time. Like, please, can you just throw in strep throat? And that was probably, in retrospect, that was probably some fucking passive-aggressive move. She knew that I was gold bricking, or at least, hungover. Yeah, what else do I have? Do you ever find it awkward when you're watching porn and your mom tries to Skype you? And I know it's happened, at least out there. No one has to woo. I know it's happened. Yeah, it could be worse. Like, is it fucked up if you stay hard and take the Skype call and put the video on mute? I've done a work conference call on YouPorn on mute, and I'm just like, please, I'm like, remember, like, don't touch the keyboard anywhere. Just don't touch it. Yeah, I try to be smooth and I try to be decadent, especially in bed. And you know how they have like the Dirty Sanchez and all these other things, Strawberry Shake, and you heard of Bucky Bronco?
No.
Someone has, yeah. Bucky Bronco, for the guys in the front row, I haven't heard of it. You hook up with a woman, you go bareback, no condom. You're doing her doggy, and it's important she doesn't know you or know your sexual history, so you don't have the public health talk beforehand.
That's my general rule of thumb.
Yeah, you keep her guessing. But anyway, you're doing her doggy, right before you're about to come, you whisper in her ear, I have AIDS. And then you hold on. I tried this once, and it backfired. I did the same thing, whispered in her ear, and she turns around and she tells me, Me too. Yeah. So I'm awkward, but I embrace it. I embrace it. And yeah. Anyway, and the other thing is like, speaking of black stereotypes, black kids love fire Cheetos. I know some of you were that. I was watching Tosh.0 recently, and he had Bub Rub from the YouTube fame back on, and he pimped out his ride. And one of the things he did is he filled the back of a Suburban with a plexiglass tank full of fire Cheetos. But anyway, like, and supposedly it's all the spices get kids high, literally. It's kind of endorphin rush, the alkaloids in the cayenne or whatever pepper they're using. But you know about nori, right? Nori, that's dried seaweed, N-O-R-I. Yeah, I think that like that's the analogy. Is like wasabi nori. That's the fire Cheetos for white kids. Definitely. And well, y'all have been relatively great. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Jerry Aver, everybody. The Drake Savior of comedy.